Sometimes, with all those clouds and no sun for weeks on end, it may seem to you that your hometown is the rainiest place on Earth. Well, there's good news. I have to disappoint you. It's unlikely, unless you live in India, that is. Let's compare some other quite extreme things and figure out the real champions. 1. Hotels. The world's biggest hotel is First World Hotel in Malaysia. This ginormous construction has 7,351 rooms, 24 floors in Tower 1, and 28 floors in Tower 2. The hotel was the largest on the planet from 2006 to 2008 and got its status back in 2015. Go to Hamburg, Germany if you want to live in the world's smallest hotel. Once you check into the El Hauso Hotel, you'll have all the place to yourself. The tiny property, built on 173 square feet of floor space, manages to house an entrance hall, living room, bedroom, breakfast room, and bathroom. Number 2. Sleep. The longest time a person spent without sleep was 11.5 days, or 276 hours. This record was set by Ptolemy Soloni in Finland in 1964. Even though there are no official records about the longest natural uninterrupted sleep, the longest hypnotic sleep lasted for 8 days and received a lot of media coverage. Number 3. Streets. The world's widest street is Avenida 9 de Julio, which means July 9th Avenue in Spanish. Please pardon my bad accent, amigos. The street has up to 7 lanes in each direction and is also flanked by 2-lane parallel streets on each side. You'll find the narrowest street in the world in the town of Reutlingen in Germany. The width of Spreuerhofstrasse. There's another accent I have to apologize for. Anyways, it varies from 12 to 20 inches, just enough space to squeeze through. And of course, the crookedest street in the world is still in San Francisco. Lombard Street makes you glad you have good brakes on your car, because the crooked part is down the hill. 4. Cycling. The highest altitude bike race takes place in Peru. Ruta Internacional de la Alpaca starts in the city of Puno at the height of almost 16,000 feet. This altitude is just twice smaller than the cruising altitude of a commercial airplane. The lowest altitude, or should I say deepest, cycling, happened underwater. In 2008, Vittorio Innocente from Italy managed to ride his bike at the depth of more than 218 feet. That's 10 giraffes placed one on top of another, in scuba gear yet. 5. Capitals. Khartoum, the capital city of Sudan, is the hottest capital in the world based on the average annual temperature. It reaches a blistering 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and in April, May, and June, which are the hottest months, the temperature usually rises to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The world's coldest capital city is Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia. The average annual temperature there is a chilly 29.7 degrees. 6. Base jumpers. The oldest base jumper parachuted from a colossal bridge in West Virginia, the USA, in 2013. At that moment, the man was 84 years and 37 days old. Yeehaw! On the other hand, when Claire Marie made her first jump, she was only 16. At that time, she became the youngest female base jumper in the world. By the age of 26, she already had more than 750 jumps in her logbook. 7. Base jumping. The highest base jump from a building happened in 2014, when 2 Frenchmen jumped off the Burj Khalifa Tower in Dubai, UAE. The distance to the ground was more than 2,700 feet, more than twice the height of the Empire State Building. No wonder this jump qualified for the Guinness World Records. The lowest base jump ever is still under debate. Some people believe that it was a jump from the height equal to 7 London buses stacked on top of each other. Others argue that a jump from Whispering Gallery inside St. Paul's Cathedral in London was a bit lower, just 7.5 London buses. And we at Brightside continue to set new records for the wackiest comparisons. First, scuba diving giraffes, now London buses base jumping. What could be next? 8. Airport runways. Qamdo Bamda Airport in China has the longest publicly used runway in the world. Its length is a bit more than 18,000 feet. Wait for it. That's 6.5 Burj Khalifas. The airport needs such a long runway because of its high altitude. The Flaba, I can't even pronounce this name, airport on the tiny Caribbean island of Saba has the shortest runway in the world for commercial flights. It's around 1,300 feet long, just 3.5 football fields. What's more, the airport is notoriously windy, and if a pilot overshoots the runway even by a bit, their plane will nosedive directly into the ocean. Happy landings! 9. Yachts. So far, the world's most expensive yacht ever built is History Supreme. This luxurious vessel costs a staggering $4.8 billion. On this yacht, you can see a real T-Rex bone statue, a wall made of meteorite rocks, and a 24-karat Aqua Vista panoramic wall. Ooh, I gotta get me one of those. For comparison, you can get a modest-sized non-luxury yacht for less than $300,000. Now let's get to 10. Water bodies. The saltiest water body in the world is Gaitala Pond in Ethiopia. The waters of this small lake contain 43% of salt. A thermal spring located beneath the lake is responsible for its saltiness and hot temperature. The world's freshest, which means the least salty seawater, is in the Baltic Sea. It contains just 10% of salt. 11. Animals' lifespan. An animal with the shortest lifespan is the mayfly. This tiny insect lives for only 1 day. Within this time, the mayfly manages to get born, mature, and reproduce. That's some multitasking. There's one particular kind of jellyfish that can be justly called immortal. If not harmed, the creature can live forever. The trick is simple. This jellyfish can cycle from an adult stage to a polyp stage and back again. And yet, it's still a jellyfish. 12. Rain. The wettest place in the world by annual rainfall is Mawsynram in India. The place gets on average 39 feet of rainfall every year. The driest months are December and January, when the amount of water falling from the sky trickles down to 2 inches. Locals probably consider it a light drizzle. The driest place on Earth is Antarctica. I know, what about all that snow? Not in dry valleys. The biggest part of this region hasn't seen any rain for millions of years. That's a place with almost no water whatsoever. No snow, no ice, and no rain. 13. Wind. Both National Geographic Atlas and Guinness World Records named Commonwealth Bay in Antarctica the windiest place on the planet. There, wind speeds often reach 150 miles per hour, which is twice as fast as a hurricane. The average annual wind speed is also impressive, 50 miles per hour. Hey, here on the bright side, this narrator talks at 75 miles per hour, with wind gusts up to 160. Interestingly, the world's calmest place is also in Antarctica. Even though no human has ever set foot in that place, scientists have determined that it's Ridge A on the Antarctic Plateau. There's hardly any wind in that area whatsoever. 14. Planets. The hottest planet in our solar system is Venus, even though it's not the one closest to the Sun. Its temperature is 860 degrees Fahrenheit at any time and in any place you check, be it the equator or the North Pole, during the day or at night. Yup, you'd burn your cookies there. The coldest and the farthest from the Sun planet is Neptune. Its surface temperature doesn't usually rise above -350. On the other hand, Uranus, being, on average, a bit warmer than Neptune, has the most extreme temperature drops, down to -371 degrees. 15. Rivers. The Nile is the longest river in the world. It flows through 9 countries and has the length of more than 4,000 miles. That's, wait for it, 14.5 Grand Canyons. The world's shortest river is the Roe River in Montana, USA. At its longest constant point, the river is just 201 feet long, which is even less than the wingspan of a Boeing 747. Okay, this is just getting silly. 16. Restaurants. The largest restaurant in the world is in Damascus, Syria. Damascus Gate Restaurant, that's its English name, can seat 6,014 people. and the area it occupies is equal to 2 Manhattan City blocks. The world's smallest restaurant, at least that's what a sign on its front declares, is the Kuoppi. You can find this yellow wooden cabin in Iisalmi, Finland. The tiny dining room occupies half of the entire construction and can seat no more than 2 guests. Well, just imagine a stack of 10 giraffes in scuba gear, all in a boat floating through 14.5 Grand Canyons. Then they base jump from 7.5 stacked London buses, landing on 6.5 Burj Khalifas, all while you're burning your cookies on Venus. Aren't you glad you watched till the very end?